the main event, that shit was a scramble fest. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the judges' scorecards, I think all the judges gave the first 2 rounds to Arman, and then the last 3 rounds they gave to Gamrot. And I felt like watching that fight, every round was kind of the same round. It was so close. But the difference maker, I think, it was Gamrot had like this second gear later in the fight, while Arman did not have that second gear. Because I think they were very evenly matched. I mean, in skill set wise, it's just Gamrot just had more in the tank, and I felt like that took over in the last couple of rounds, and that won him that fight. But if Arman would have won the fight, I wouldn't argue. What did you see, Dan, with your eyes?
Yeah, like a lot of their positions just cancel each other out. That low single where Gamrot kind of goes for the loop swoop and just hits it super low, and then loop swoops that leg super high, was cancelled out just with like Arman's ability to keep his balance and just his natural flexibility. That's just like a natural flexibility that 99% of humans just don't have, right? So like 99% of guys, you whip a leg up like that, they're gonna fall over. But yeah, that's something you can't really account for. It's just someone being like just having crazy flexibility and very good balance. But to me, it just looked like the composure, man. Like Gamrot could see how much energy that Arman was like putting into everything, and if he didn't have that 5-round experience, then you can kind of get caught up in it. Like, man, I'm losing these rounds. But just he stayed so composed. Like waited for his times to get his shots, and it's just 5-round experience. That's just Arman's first 5-rounder, and that's Gamrot's had a few in M1 Global defending his title over there in Poland. So that's 5-round experience, like just really shining through. But razor fight. I don't think you can really argue it either way. Like if it would have gone to Arman, even though I hate him, and it's like sweet to see him lose. I still feel like that fight definitely could have gone either way, and I feel like a lot of fans are gonna feel that way as well. But yeah, 5-round experience, put it in the bank, kid. Learn from it.
Yeah, with this fight, man, while watching it, it's just so high level, man. It was like every week now, it seems like, in the main events. You know, last week it was Emmett and who did fucking Emmett fight last week? Cater. Yeah, that was so close, high level. You know what I mean? Striking battle. This one was all scrambles and wrestling, and you know, Arman did really well, I think, with the kicks. But it seemed like Gamrot started to time that. You know what I mean? Later in the fight, and started to snatch that leg up and use that. So yeah, it was a fun fight to watch. You know, for some people, I think they didn't like it so much because they wanted to see more of them bang. But
what?
Banging.
Some people don't like that. I thought that was a sick fight. I thought that was a crazy good fight. I thought like the card was like a long card. Mean fights, but I feel like there were some in there that were like a bit stalemate, like the heavyweights are a bit sloppy. Like there's a few I get distracted when it's not like a good fight. I feel like when things are like the Nurmagomedov one, not saying it's like a bad or critiquing it, but like he's just dominant and he's just doing the same thing every round. You know what I mean? Like that's not an exciting fight for me to watch. Just one guy's better in one aspect and just repeats the same process 3 times in a row. That's not entertaining to watch. But that main event just really like capped off it was a long day. That's all where I'm sitting. It was a long day. It was a long day of fights, but that main event was crazy, man. That main event. But yeah, like it's just my cat's doing some nuts stuff. Get lost, bro. It's just showed. Yeah, it's just everyone's a beast on the come up, right? Like everyone blows people out of the water as they're coming up, but once they get to that top 15, that top 10, and you're starting to the skill difference just becomes a lot more finite, then you get pushed to these places, and you really have to show all your cards, you know. And that's a fight that was like I feel like both fighters showed all their cards, and that's the disadvantage that comes with competing at that level, is that now everyone knows what you're going to do. Now everyone knows their games. You know what I mean? You see them in another 5-rounder, people start to figure it out, right? People start to see the patterns. People start to figure them out, and that's when you have to. The adjustments become a lot more difficult. You know what I mean? At that high level, once everyone knows what you're gonna do. But great fight. Definitely, hard to score against Arman. Gamrot can't strike, brother. That's one thing I know for sure. Man can wrestle.
Yeah.
But that striking was something else.
Yeah, that spinning, he loves to spin. Like,
Dude,
he spun like a few times every round. And Arman was spinning too. I didn't notice that he likes to spin as well.
Spin the win, brother. Spin the win. Gamrot's one was like, Gamrot's one was like more that he was like kind of just falling off, like falls into something or falls off balance, and he just kind of does it to correct himself. I thought, Arman had head and shoulders an advantage in the striking, and then Gamrot like edged it with a few positions, right? Just that shot, cut the angle, and then take the. This is my cat. This is my cat, Freckles.
Freckles?
Hello. Go away, mate.
What were we saying? Oh, yeah, Gamrot. I think that was the adjustment, right? Like, he knew in the first 2 rounds that he was getting outstruck. So from the 3rd round on, it was like, all right, let's limit the striking and just get into these scrambles. Because I think you said earlier that
he was realizing that the single just wasn't working. Like usually he hits that low single or strikes and then picks up the one leg. And he that was the adjustment. I feel like the first 2 rounds, he realized that single leg just wasn't working against Arman. Like his flexibility and his balance just really wiped it out and cancelled it. So he had to make the adjustment where he shot him for the double leg, but Arman's got like a very good sprawl. So he shot him for the double leg and then cut that angle real quick and then kind of caused that stalemate and then was able to get the body lock, then work his way to the back and then control it. It was a cool body lock. Like for me watching like the placement of it, like usually guys hang off the back, like around the hips, like they'll lock their hands like low on the hips and control it from there. But obviously if your grip is down there, it's a lot easier to fight your hands. But I feel like Gamrot's body lock was like right in the small of the waist. Like he had it like he had a lot higher than most people. He was sagging his weight, but he was controlling it around the waist, like which made it a lot harder for Arman to get to his hands. If they're a bit lower around the hips, it's a lot easier to fight their hands and break them off. But I felt like Gamrot had that body lock like a little bit higher, and so that was a cool. But that's like another thing, right? Now people know. Like now people know. Now people know his backup plan. Before we knew his plan A, right? Like we saw Gamrot, we know his plan A. We know he's gonna, shoot that low single. We know he's gonna do this. But now we know his plan B. We know his plan C. Like this is where it becomes like a lot more difficult going forward. You understand?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the more you fight, the more film there is on you, the more tendencies come out, all of that good stuff. And like you said, adjustments. The winner of this fight, they're in a weird position now, even if Arman won. Because if you look at the rankings, Arman's number 11, Gamrot's number 12, right?
Like,
so they're pretty much in the same position. Flip spots, right?
Well, like that's the funny thing about the division. Like generally, you go main event, you win the main event, you go title shot. Like lightweight, you go main event, nothing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. He called out Justin Gaethje. I'll tell you right now, he ain't gonna take that fight. Like that is pissing in the wind. Like that's the funny thing about lightweight. Like any other division, you get a title shot off a fight like that. Lightweight division, like no one, you'll struggle to get a top 10 fighter to fight you off a main. Like that's the like funny mix that you're in.
Yeah, if you look at the list of the guys in the top 10, Fiziev, he's fighting RDA. Fiziev's 10, RDA's number 7. Benil's injured. Chandler, he's only looking to fight the big names, right? Or it's a title fight, so
Oh
he's
yeah.
definitely
Like
not gonna
he might
fight
get
Gamrot.
he might get McGregor. Like he ain't gonna do that.
Like you ain't gonna go fight Gamrot. That's like all risk,
For what?
no reward at all. To be
What,
honest,
Yeah.
and then Islam's probably gonna fight for the title next against Oliver. Is it weird to you that there's no champion at lightweight? Like it's just blank. There's no champion. Is that weird, or do you consider
We
Charles
know,
Oliveira like
we
the
know.
champ? We
We
know.
all know. Oliveira's the champ, brother. We all know. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
That was bullshit.
Yeah,
Even
that
though I
was
don't like
complete.
Charlie Olives either. I don't like any of these guys. Let's just make this clear. I'm not talking shit. I don't like any of them. But he's the champ. Let's get real.
Yeah, he's the champ. He's the champ. Yeah, he's in a funky position, Gamrot, man. Like, I don't know. I guess he has to sit back and see, like, does Fiziev beat RDA or does RDA beat Fiziev? Because that could be a matchup. People are talking about if Brad wins next week.
But what? Like no one's like you. Yeah, what? Like the winner of Fiziev RDA is not gonna fight backwards in the rankings. Like it's weird. Like it's weird that the winner nothing really happens, but then I feel like the loser nothing really happens. Like I don't feel like they're just gonna like switch places and then just wait.
And it is weird because there's no like title fight that's lined up yet. You know what I mean? They're working on some stuff, but there's no title fight lined up yet. You gotta.
I told you already. Islam against Charles Oliveira in Abu Dhabi. Like, don't. This is always gonna happen.
You're the insider.
Always gonna happen, brother. How much they paid me to get off the couch? They are backing that horse. Trust me.
Yeah. Definitely. And then, we talked about Chandler, Gaethje, Poirier. He's sitting back. He might even just go fight at welterweight or whatever. So Gamrot, he probably ain't getting none of those names, and which means he's probably gonna have to end up fighting somebody that's closer in the rankings to him, that's behind him, which is like Brad Riddell. Riddell fights, your teammate fights next week. Someone in the comments was like, if Riddell wins, why not fight Gamrot? They were gonna fight, or they were in talks to compete. So
they
that actually would be a good matchup.
They had like a couple of dates. They had like a couple of dates booked with each other. It'll be cool, but like even though that's like a mean fight, it's like Brad's that's a feature prelim on a pay-per-view, but like main event, you're coming up a main event win, you don't go forward. That sets a weird precedent. You know what I mean? Like you get a main event win and you don't go forward. You don't even get a higher ranked opponent. Like that precedent is not good.
Well, I think Gamrot, he might have to do one of those solids for the UFC and slide in somewhere where that's what he should be probably doing, is sitting back and saying, all right, there's these matchups ahead of me. If anybody pulls out, I'm going to slide in. That's what he has to do.
It's probably his best bet, if I'm being honest.
And now Arman has to go back. Did you see the interview in the cage? They interviewed him after the fight, and he was just like baffled. Like he was just like, I don't know.
Hate that, bro. I can't believe they do the. Was he even hanging around for an interview? I think he was just standing there, like he was just distraught about like losing, and he just run up on him with like a microphone. I understand that, but like, come on, this is like your world has just come crashing down, and then someone's just like, "How do you feel?" It's like, what? That's sad. It's cold-blooded. It's cold-blooded.
In Japan, they do it to every fight. Like every fight, the winner and the loser comes back, and they do a full press conference.
But Japan's like, it's different as well. Where like losing doesn't mean isn't like the worst thing in the world. Like losing over there, as long as you show respect and carry ahead and fight well, then a lot of people tip their hat to, and a lot of people shower you in respect. So then I can understand, because like in Japan, like the highs and lows of winning and losing aren't that different. Like, whereas like the way the UFC set it up, like winner gets everything, like loser you suck. Like that's like that's like the culture that, you know, like they've created with the UFC, and they've created with like MMA Twitter at where it is now, where like winner is God mode, loser should probably retire. Like that's the way that we treat like every fight. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's a bit different. So I can definitely understand where like Japan's coming from. They're not doing it in like a weird way, or like a negative way, or just to see like the agony on someone's voice. You know, they're I feel like they're more respectful as fans, and you get that like when you're over there and you're fighting. Like I fought in Japan a few times. Like you'll defend a takedown or defend like a submission, and the crowd will like acknowledge that. Like the crowd will clap like a grappling exchange. Whereas like yeah, you defend a submission in like North America or something, you'll probably still get booed and told to stand it up. But that's just
Yeah. Yeah, but like as someone that sits in like the press conferences, and when I was there, like watching somebody lose and then them come back and their face looks like fucking what's his name from the Goonies,
yo.
and they're sitting there, face is fucked up, ice pack on their half their face, cut, just sewed up, and then they're having an emotional breakdown in front of the whole media, you know what I mean, crying and all of that. And sometimes I'm looking at that and like, fuck, dude, I don't even know if I could do that. That is challenge. That's more challenging than the fight, probably. It's just face the media after losing and
Oh,
just
bro, I
looking
wouldn't
like,
do that. I wouldn't
yeah,
do
it's
that. You ain't gonna
hardcore.
catch me. You ain't catching me like that. You ain't catching me. You ain't catching me in tears on camera. You know what I mean? Like you don't
Yeah.
catch me like that. I'll do that. You do that when you're by yourself. You know, when
Mhm.
you're by yourself, bottle that. Get the bottle all that emotion up.
Yeah, you gotta release it somewhere. You know what I mean? Everybody has different releases, but yeah, it's yeah, it is weird. Like why they would want to go interview him. Maybe they wanted a reaction like, "Fuck the judges, fuck everybody." You know, maybe they wanted that reaction. I don't know. It seems like the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, whenever they do those post fight interviews, I think the goal of the post fight interview is to get clips, to get
Of
little. You
course,
know, that's what they're doing.
you just figured that out, brother. That's the goal. Chael Simon, Uncle Chael is on the money. The goal of your post-fight interview is to get another fight. That's all it is. Like if I was Arman and they come and chuck a microphone to my face and I just lost, I'll call someone out. I'll tell someone I'm gonna smash their face. Like I'm gonna get another fight. You know what I mean? Anytime you put a mic, like that's what this is. It's the business of fighting.
Mhm.
That's it.